A series of catastrophic supercell thunderstorms violently pummeled Nebraska over the weekend of June 20th to 21st, 2026, dropping giant, destructive hail, unleashing hurricane-force winds, and triggering severe flash flooding across multiple counties. Meteorological models and data gathered by regional emergency response networks estimate that the severe convective system carved a wide path of destruction from southwestern communities all the way through the central agricultural heartland of the state. Thousands of acres of prime row crops have been flattened, properties heavily damaged, and local infrastructure severely compromised. Emergency management teams, local utility companies, and agricultural extensions are mobilizing across the state of Nebraska, following a weekend of historic and deeply destructive severe weather. A highly volatile atmospheric setup collided over the Great Plains, causing supercell thunderstorms to rapidly explode. These storms dropped massive hailstones up to 3 inches in diameter, generated straight-line wind gusts exceeding 75 miles per hour, and dumped immense amounts of rainfall that rapidly inundated both rural and urban zones. Data compiled by regional tracking networks like HailTrace estimates that over 11,400 properties were impacted by hail at least 1 inch in diameter, with over 1,000 homes, agricultural facilities, and commercial buildings sustaining severe structural damage from giant ice meteors exceeding 2.5 inches. Property owners and farmers are currently picking up the pieces from what is being described as one of the most intense and costly midsummer severe weather events to strike the region in recent history. The multi-wave storm system affected distinct pockets of Nebraska, bringing unique combinations of microburst winds, torrential downpours, and intense localized hail cores that left an undeniable mark on each community. Residents in McCook and nearby portions of Hitchcock County witnessed terrifying radar indications as a severe cell dropped hail ranging from tennis ball to baseball size, up to 3.0 inches in diameter. Vehicles driving along state highways were subjected to terrifying, inescapable barrages of ice. Scores of cars sustained shattered windshields, caved-in hoods, and structural write-offs. In residential sectors, siding was completely stripped from eastward-facing walls, and residential skylights were obliterated. As the storm tracking path shifted eastward overnight into Sunday morning, June 21st, the severe weather consolidated into a massive multi-county squall line that rolled directly through the densely populated Tri-Cities region. The National Weather Service, NWS, Hastings Office clocked ping-pong-ball to half-dollar-sized hail, 1.50 inches, falling directly at their facility around 8 a.m. on Sunday, accompanied by intense blinding sheets of rain. Just north and west of the Tri-Cities, the hail size scaled exponentially. Areas near Amherst officially reported massive 3-inch diameter hail, leaving residential lawns looking like war zones littered with shattered tree limbs and fragmented ice chunks. Neighborhoods in Kearney endured a high-velocity barrage of smaller but incredibly dense hail. While the stones themselves were slightly smaller than those in Amherst, extreme wind speeds drove the ice horizontally, destroying residential landscaping, stripping bark off trees, and shattering home windows. The most devastating economic impact of the weekend unfolded across northern Adams County and Clay County, where the timing of the storm struck a direct blow to the local agricultural economy. Local farmers captured apocalyptic footage of the storm's aftermath, a brutal combination of 5-inch hailstones driven by 70-plus miles per hour winds absolutely leveled thousands of acres of corn and soybean fields, leaving nothing but shredded stalks in their wake. Public officials at the Clay County Emergency Operations Center shared images of extensive property damage. Local research facilities and corporate farms suffered structural trauma, with heavy-duty metal siding shredded, roofs compromised, and metal grain bins severely crumpled and tossed by the winds. In addition to the destructive ice, the slow-moving nature of the convective system squeezed tropical levels of moisture out of the atmosphere. A sharp meteorological gradient caused immense localized deluges, dumping nearly 5 inches of water on top of already saturated soils within a very short time frame. This extreme precipitation caused dangerous and immediate flash flooding. Floodwaters swiftly spilled over rural highways, turning local fields along Highway 2 between Doniphan and Hastings into contiguous lakes. In urban sectors like Grand Island, Gibbon, and Bolus, city storm drains were completely overwhelmed, leaving vehicles stranded in knee-deep water on municipal streets and forcing several drivers to abandon their cars. The sheer kinetic force of the straight-line winds clocked up to 75 miles per hour in south-central Nebraska, and pairing with a massive 91 miles per hour gust just across the southern border, left the regional utility grid in tatters and severely disrupted daily life. High winds and heavy ice loading snapped multiple utility poles, shattered transformers, and downed transmission lines. Thousands of residents across central Nebraska lost power over the weekend, leaving families without air conditioning or basic utility access during hot summer conditions. The Sherman County Sheriff's Office reported heavy structural damage surrounding the reservoir. Campers and recreational vehicles were caught in the fray, with reports indicating at least one pop-up camper was entirely overturned by the sheer force of the wind, though no critical injuries were immediately reported. Prominent cultural locations, such as the Store Museum in Grand Island, were forced to shut down operations on Sunday to execute emergency cleanup, clear fallen timber, and assess historical structures for roof penetration and broken glass. The National Weather Service warns that Nebraska's weather pattern will remain unsettled for the final week of June. A temporary dip in temperatures may offer a brief respite from intense summer heat. Continuous low-pressure disturbances moving through the sandhills mean that sporadic chances for strong storms, localized hail, and additional heavy rainfall will persist. A relentless barrage of severe weather is battering Colorado, dropping apple-sized to baseball-sized hail, sparking rotating supercells, and leaving a trail of severe property damage across multiple regions. The National Weather Service, NWS, has issued multiple severe thunderstorm watches and tornado warnings as high atmospheric instability, wind shear, and low-level moisture converge to turn the region into a volatile collision zone for extreme weather. In Denver Metropolitan Area, the state's capital took a direct and punishing hit as an intense supercell moved rapidly through the heart of the metroplex. For a terrifying window, downtown Denver was subjected to a torrential downpour of quarter to golf ball-sized hail. The hail fell with such velocity and volume that it completely stripped mature trees of their foliage, creating a dense layer of green waste on roads. Streets in downtown Denver and urban neighborhoods like Park Hill quickly transformed into rivers of white slush. Blocked storm drains caused localized flash flooding, trapping vehicles in deep, icy water and forcing drivers to abandon their cars. Near Coors Field, pedestrians and sports fans rushed under scaffolding and store awnings to escape the bruising impact of the ice stones. Car owners in the Uptown and Capitol Hill districts frantically drove into expensive commercial parking garages to save their vehicles from structural damage. The National Weather Service tracked massive supercells moving across counties like Cheyenne, Kit Carson, Lincoln, Phillips, Sedgwick, Washington, and Yuma. In these zones, the hail grew to an astonishing 3 inches in diameter, roughly the size of a large apple. Driven by straight-line winds exceeding 70 miles per hour, these giant chunks of ice became lethal projectiles. They shattered residential windows, dented heavy farm machinery, and punched holes through vinyl home siding. In tandem with the giant hail, meteorologists confirmed multiple landspout tornadoes touching down from eastern Weld County all the way to the Kansas state border. These rotating columns of air swirled through agricultural fields, damaging outbuildings and knocking down power lines. The weather took an equally dangerous turn as the NWS office in Pueblo issued immediate high-priority broadcast requests for a severe thunderstorm warning covering central Otero County and southeastern Crowley County. Radar data indicated a highly organized storm system tracking northeastward at approximately 25 miles per hour. It packed a dual threat of 70 miles per hour wind gusts and ping-pong-ball-sized hail. Communities such as La Junta, Rocky Ford, Ordway, Swink, Manzanola, and Crowley found themselves directly in the crosshairs. A tornado touched down just west of Fowler, sending locals rushing to low-level interior rooms and basements for protection. Heavy tree damage blocked local rural routes, and the combination of high winds and flying ice caused immediate structural failure to several older mobile homes and unreinforced outbuildings. The Denver International Airport became a scene of logistical chaos as the severe weather corridor passed directly over the airfield. Thunderstorms and high hail probability forced aviation officials to implement strict ground delay programs. Well over 600 flights were significantly delayed, and hundreds more were outright canceled as planes were held at their originating gates nationwide. Ground crews were pulled indoors repeatedly due to frequent lightning strikes and high wind gusts, preventing baggage handling and aircraft refueling. Terminal concourses were packed with stranded travelers watching the storm through reinforced glass windows. Industry experts and local roofing contractors note that storms of this magnitude cause catastrophic, unseen damage to homes. While broken windows are immediately obvious, hail impacts fracture the underlying fiberglass mat of asphalt shingles. This bruise compromises the water-shedding capabilities of the roof, leading to slow, structural wood rot and interior ceiling leaks that may not manifest until months later. Outside the urban zones, the agricultural sector has suffered a devastating blow. In counties where farming is the economic lifeblood, wind-driven ice has completely leveled fields of corn, winter wheat, and delicate fruit orchards. Greenhouses have had their glass structures shattered, exposing specialized interior crops to cold wind and torrential rains. Local farm bureaus are urging communities to support impacted local producers who face total crop failure before the midsummer harvest even begins.